Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Wednesday, March 4th, 2015, around 7:06 in the morning, Belleville, Massachusetts. It's going to clear up, and it's going to be about 40 degrees today in the greater Boston area. Whoopee! First time it will reach over 40 degrees in about a month and a half. Some news to report. The Boston Celtics got smoked by the Cleveland Cavaliers, 110-79. LeBron James is now 21st on the NBA's all-time scoring list, passing Ray Allen, his former teammate. Also, the Kentucky Wildcats are now 30-0, the men's basketball team. And also, the Florida Panthers did not get 2 points last night in a scary kind of a odd situation last night. Both of their goaltenders got injured, and they had the goaltender coach had to suit up as the emergency backup, but he did not get into the game. And also, Jerry Remy's bar and grill near Fenway Park in Boylston Street in Boston has closed down. They locked its doors. Rumors going around that that location was bankrupt, but Jerry Remy's location on the Boston waterfront, Boston Logan Airport, and Fall River, Massachusetts remain open. And I think I know what they should put in that where Jerry Remy's used to be. Hooters, Hooters, Hooters. And Harpo Studios in Chicago, Illinois, where they filmed the Oprah Winfrey show for many years, is closing down by the end of the year. And it's also Happy National Grammar Day. And that's about it on the news. My first video subject of the day is about the classic TV game show Jackpot. Jackpot was a classic TV game show. It had 3 runs in NBC and the USA Network and Global Network in Canada, and also syndication. It ran from 1974 through 1989 in 3 different incarnations. And it was produced and created by Bob Stewart, whose famous game show he created was $100,000 Pyramid. Plus, he also worked for Goodson Todman in the 50s and 60s, developing To Tell the Truth and Password and The Price is Right. And it was hosted by Jeff Edwards, NBC and syndication, and Mike Darrow on the USA Network and Global in Canada. The original run of Jackpot was from September 7th, 1974 through September 26th, 1975 on NBC, and the announcers for the NBC version was Don Pardo and Wayne Harwell. And the gameplay was as follows. There were 16 contestants who competed the entire week in Jackpot, and it was one player who was designated as the king of the hill, or queen of the hill if it was a lady, or it was called on the NBC version the experts. They sat at a podium. The other 15 contestants sat in a 3-tier bleachers section, and all of these contestants had special wallets that contained a riddle which had any amount of money, but one of them had the jackpot. And plus, at the beginning of the game, they had a target number for what money it was, and if they reached the target number, they could have went for the super jackpot, which some of times could be $50,000. But the most they won on the super jackpot was over $38,000, and was split by the 2 contestants who. And the thing is, each like riddle had a various amount of money, and the contestant had to guess the riddle. If they guessed it right, they continued on. If not, they would have to switch places with the contestant who they got it wrong, and that contestant became the new king of the hill, queen of the hill, or the experts on the NBC version. And sometimes they would get the jackpot question early. But if it's the first question and they get the jackpot, they tend to leave it towards the end, because usually the money in the jackpot's 0, and you can't. And that wouldn't be a good idea if they answered the jackpot question right, and it was $0. It would be worthless. So they would try to build the jackpot up and stuff like that. And once in a while, during the wallets had maybe a special prizes and stuff like that, and it was pretty good. the game of Jackpot was a very fun game. It got the noontime death slot on NBC. A lot of people would say that was a primo spot, but history says otherwise. Many NBC affiliates preempted Jackpot because of the local news. I know the NBC affiliate at the time, WBZ TV4 in Boston, carried the local news, so it was Jackpot was shown on WSBK TV 38. And also Jeff Edwards, who was the host of Jackpot on the NBC version, dressed hip a lot because he wore his hair long and got it perm, because the head of NBC Daytime at the time, Lynn Bolden, wanted all her game show hosts to look hip because it was the 70s. And some of them looked ridiculously hip, like Peter Marshall, who hosted Hollywood Squares, Bill Cullen, who hosted Winning Streak, and Dennis James, who hosted Name That Tune, which was on NBC at the time. They were much older, and they looked ridiculous dressing hip and stuff like that, but that they had to do it. And Jackpot was continuing to be a decent hit on NBC, even though it was getting preempted a lot. But towards the end of Jackpot, it was moved to the 12:30 time slot, and the last, I think, 3 months on the air of Jackpot, they switched from riddles to general knowledge question and answer. Some of them were true and false, some of them were multiple part questions, and this killed Jackpot, because Jackpot was, a game of riddles, and changing it to a straight question and answer format was the death blow of Jackpot, and it got canceled. And the concept of Jackpot sat idle for 9 years, but in 1984 they filmed a pilot of Jackpot for CBS television studios in Los Angeles, California, hosted by the poet laureate of television, Nipsey Hussle. And this version of Jackpot had the same format, but every riddle was $150 to build up to the jackpot. And if there were two contestants who got the jackpot question right, they went into the bonus round to solve X amount of riddles in 60 seconds for a possible $10,000. This pilot of Jackpot was pretty good. Nipsey Hussle was a host, but it didn't sell for CBS. And the next year, 1985, Jackpot is revived, and it was filmed in Toronto, Canada for the Global Television Network in Canada, and it was shown in the United States on USA Network, hosted by Mike Darrow, who was famous for hosting the $128,000 question in the 1970s, and Dream House for for ABC in the 1960s. And this Jackpot was, pretty, a revival. They had some modifications. They added a couple of things to the wallets, the riddles, like double dollars, which if the king of the hill or queen of the hill got the question right, the jackpot doubled in amount, plus there were the return trips. That means that a contestant who got it right could return to Jackpot the next week and stuff like that. And it had a 3.5-year run on the Global Network and USA Network, and was a pretty good hit. And it was revived in syndication again. And this version, it was revived in syndication, and that version of Jackpot lasted from September 30th, 1985 to December 30th, 1988. So it had a 3-year and 3-month run. And Jackpot was revived in syndication again, hosted by Jeff Edwards again from September 18th, 1989 through March 16th, 1990 in syndication. And this version of Jackpot was filmed in Los Angeles, and it still had the gameplay was still the same and stuff, and they had little variations, but the production company that distributed Jackpot was losing money, so to save money, they had to tape 10 Jackpot episodes in a day. And Jeff Edwards said in an interview years and years ago, he says that it was so hectic that every time they would film an episode, he would have to go back to the dressing room and get changed, because you can't wear the same clothes when you're taping a show 5 days in advance, because some viewers think it's the some viewers think it's every day, and you don't want to be wearing the same stuff every day and stuff. And Jeff said that sometimes he would, when they were announcing that it's time to tape, he would sometimes have to rush down from his dressing room just to make it in time and stuff like that. And this version of Jackpot was seen in Boston on WFXT Fox 25, and it got decent ratings, but the production company went bust in the middle of the season, and it had to go off the air. And that was about it. And Jackpot has not been revived as a property ever since, which is a shame, because the riddles were very good and stuff, and it was great gameplay and stuff. And reruns of Jackpot, the NBC version, has been destroyed. Only like 3 episodes have been circulating around tape collectors. All the other Jackpots on the USA Network and Global for Canada and the syndicated version, all of it's intact, and it had been reran several times on the Game Show Network and stuff like that. And I like Jackpot, and Jeff Edwards would say every time if a person got the question right you are! And the theme song to Jackpot in the 70s version on NBC was the same theme song they used for This Week in Baseball back in the 70s and 80s. Do, 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 do. And that's about it on Jackpot. Be back later. Facebook friends, YouTube followers, Daily Motion, and Twitter. 2 more video blogs. One will be about the 4 surviving MBTA trackless trolley routes there in Cambridge, Massachusetts. 71 Harvard Square to Waltertown Square. 72 Harvard Square to Yelena Ave in Cambridge. 73 Harvard Square to Waverly Square in Belmont. And 77A Harvard Square to North Cambridge Car Yard on Mass Ave. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about Steve. Great feedback on these video blogs, doing something new, having different images on these video blogs each time I'm doing it out, something different. Might go back to the old style. We'll wait and see. And now I have my logo, Rich, on there. That's going to be the logo on there now. Don't forget, coming soon to these video blogs, Julie Broughton and Heidi Pratt, and great feedback. And if you want a shout out or plug, private message me and I'll plug it for you. Have a good day, everybody. See you later.